Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was gonna say I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about the rent by the room strategy. I call it the Roomster Strategy. This is a strategy that I honestly didn't think I'd be using. If you ever listen to some of my talking points, especially early on, I said that this wasn't really for me. When I went to college, I did rent by the room from someone else. And then when I came here to Ohio, I had a luxury apartment, 2-bedroom. My older brother, thankfully, moved in with me for a while during the pandemic. And it really helped me to get accustomed to not only living with someone, but just living in a new state. And so as I was going about life, getting acclimated to a new job, a new career for the first time after graduating college, this was the next step. I purchased the first home. I put it up for rent. I did not live in that home. Rented it out completely to one single tenant. That same tenant, as of the making of the video, is still in that house to this day, 4 or 5 years later. Which I'm absolutely blessed to not only be able to provide a stable environment for that tenant, but also to provide what has been a stable source of income, even in these tough economic times. With that being said, when I decided to buy my second property, this is one that I said I would live in for some time so that I can not only grow my wealth, but I can really start to stabilize my life, because that's when I decided that I was going to stay here in this state. And so the first thing I did after buying a new car, a new home, was I needed to furnish it, but I also needed some breathing room. So I got tenants, and right away people were flooding my door. I'm talking about in 2021, people were flooding my door, cash in hand, wanting a room, wanting a place to stay. I mean, I had to turn people down. I was wary of anybody who came to me with cash in hand wanting a place. I completely said no right away. Wanted to be paid online, mobily, digitally, in just a safer, smoother transaction. And I understand that people may have been getting paid under the table. I understand that people may be working daily jobs to where they're getting paid cash in hand, but I wanted something to where I didn't necessarily have to worry about illegal methods of being paid, especially when you have an abundance of people applying. One thing that I rejected was couples living with me. There were plenty of couples that tried to live with me. And it's sad to say, but there was a lot of people who maybe couldn't afford housing. Maybe they're going through a divorce, or they had multiple animals. So when they would move out, they would need a place for their cats, their dogs, their girlfriend. I'm like, hold on now. That's a lot to deal with. And then also managing other people's emotions and respecting them as well. So we kept it all male, didn't just move in women, even though, you know, there were some women of my culture which I knew would be super respectful, just had certain values that I'm aware of, that they wouldn't try anything or do anything funny. But there's a risk to that, right? There's a risk to having a woman in the household that, one, you're not sleeping with, and then two, there are other males around that could feel uncomfortable because of that situation. And then legal issues that could arise. And so just avoiding that altogether was a very smart move on my part. I haven't had that type of issue. and I plan on not having those type of issues. Because again, you have to minimize risk in your life. I used to say that I was a medium risk individual, but honestly, I may be low risk compared to what other people are doing these days. So, when I decided to settle down here, there was a different shift from the luxury apartment lifestyle with Amazon furniture to going and buying $2,000 couches, $10,000 equipment. If you look right over here, I got a massage chair that's what, like $1,900 right there. You know, don't even use it, but that was something that I absolutely wanted at a point in time. And so I spent over 10 grand and way more now furnishing the apartment in 2021. And so having that breathing room where the mortgage was being paid, you had two tenants effectively helping out when I had absolutely nothing in the house. That allowed me some breathing room, and by, I would say, 10 months, maybe 8 months in, everything was fully furnished, with the exception of the living room TV and the nightstand and the stuff that I have now. If you check my video on basement remodel, which I put a lot of effort into, so I hope you all like that. That's when I really upgraded the living room and obviously upgraded the basement with that basement remodel. And that was the most money I ever spent on any sort of renovation. So if I didn't tell you the price, it's definitely going to be in that basement remodel video, but you can check that out and see how much I actually spent on a basement remodel. And if you've ever remodeled your basement, let us know how much you spent on that, because it can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $150,000 to remodel a basement these days. And I did some of the work myself, so you may be shocked to know how much I spent. So with that being said, I did not expect to move forward with a roommate situation. And the reason being is I didn't really want to share space with anyone. I felt like it was a time for me to just be free, independent, not have to necessarily worry about anything. But I will say that it has actually helped me in many ways. It helped me to keep certain things tidy and not just allow it to go, right? Not just allow myself to just slump over. Seeing faces, seeing people, interacting with people doesn't allow you to just be to yourself all the time. And it allows you to really just take in different personalities and be aware of certain things. And it also gets you used to living with somebody else. If ever I do decide to take that next step, it gives me the opportunity to say, hey, I understand a balance in living with other people. Now, granted, we have our own rooms. We're not sleeping in the same rooms, right? But it does give you a sense of, respecting boundaries, things of that nature that you wouldn't necessarily have if you lived by yourself. And in fact, I think you would be more selfish just living alone without anyone to necessarily have to consider. And definitely 3 years ago, I would say I didn't have any consideration whatsoever because it was all me. And so why would I, right? So with that being said, I think that this situation has been very fruitful for me because it gave me the opportunity to not need the situation or not even want for the situation. It wasn't a need before, but it did enhance my ability to do other things, save more, invest more, buy things quicker, and get ahead, because there were so many expenses with home ownership that you just would not be aware of. Getting stuff for your garden. I just bought some spray to get the algae off of the side of the house. These are the things that I would never think about. Weed spray as well, bug spray. I never had bugs in the house, which is great, but you'll see some ants outside, things like that. Remodeling the backyard, planting, gardening. I spent over $500, $600 on dirt just so I can plant 1 year, and I didn't even plant this year. So now that was just done for the dirt. But there are certain things that you don't necessarily consider. But when you have that extra income coming in, it definitely helps to negate some of the pitfalls that a new homeowner may go through. And so when you see people who have just bought a home going through issues with rising taxes, things of that nature that are really impeding them, interest rate fluctuations if they didn't get a fixed mortgage and things like that, that can absolutely hurt. But if you were to have a roommate, you can, again, negate some of those costs, especially if you were able to afford the home on your own. This is just a added bonus to allow yourself to get ahead outside of the norm of what is expected of you, right? You see, so the banks expect you to pay this yourself or pay this with your partner. When you add others to help support that, that is outside the scope of what the bank has calculated and anticipated, giving you actual room to breathe, actual room to make decisions that will better yourself in your life. And so this was absolutely something that has allowed me to take steps forward in investing for the future, in investing in myself, in taking other steps that I normally wouldn't have taken, being more aggressive in job promotions and jobs that I was going after, and knowing that, hey, even if I had stopped working, even if I didn't have an income coming in, that things would still be afloat and going smoothly. And so I suggest that any single individual with a good street mindset, because just being book smart is not enough. You have to be able to distinguish what people are trying to get a finesse out of you and what people are actually going to be good to live with in a livable situation. And I will say I've only had to evict one person ever. I only had to do one eviction ever. So I say all that to say, even I can fall for the guy in the nice suit with the nice rental car, saying that they're this big businessman and needing a place to crash. But do your due diligence, and everything will fall into place. So if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If there was something that you wanted me to go over that I did not, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to address that in a future video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.